You've spent your whole life trying to control the outcome, not in an obvious way, not like a control freak who micromanages everything, but in this quiet, invisible way where you're constantly scanning. What do they need from me? How can I make this go smoothly? What's the right thing to say so no one gets upset? You think you're being helpful, thoughtful, responsible, but really, you're people pleasing, trying to manage a variable you were never in control of in the first place. And the day you stop, the day you let the outcome be whatever it's going to be, everything shifts. Hey, friends, I'm Sandy Bartlett, shamanic practitioner for second spring women who are ready to stop people pleasing and reclaim their lives. And today we're talking about what happens when you stop trying to manage how it all turns out and why letting go of control is actually about stopping the people pleasing pattern that's been running your whole life. You've been operating under the belief that if you just do it right, you can control how it turns out. Say the right thing, perform the right version of yourself, manage everyone else's comfort. The people-pleasing promise, if you do this perfectly, you'll be safe. But it's a lie. You were never controlling the outcome. You were just exhausting yourself trying. You've been scattering your energy into everyone else's reactions, trying to manage how they respond to you. When you're constantly trying to manage how it turns out, you're leaking energy into 1,000 possible outcomes that aren't even yours to control. Your energy is scattered, fragmented, tied up in the what ifs and how can I make this work? The work isn't learning to let go. It's calling your energy back from all the places you've been sending it and letting other people's responses be theirs, not yours. What outcome have you been trying to control? Drop a comment and tell me what would happen if you just didn't. Here's an example of trying to control the outcome. So in my last job, it was someplace where they gave bonuses every year. And the last one I received was very disappointing. And after much thought and having a conversation with a coach friend of mine, helping me kind of work through, like role playing, if you will, what I could say and how I wanted to phrase it and all of that, I still couldn't control the outcome. The way I chose to approach it was asking if there was an issue with my performance, what could I do to improve? And being the type of person that my boss at the time is, he started asking questions and I shared with him. Because I was the head of HR, I had access to see, and I didn't do anything with the information. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. I simply just went to have a conversation with him and again approached it from what can I do to improve? From my perspective, my intention was clear. And even the way I approached it, my thought was do it right, ask the right questions, manage the outcome toward improvement. And that people-pleasing script was running underneath. If I say it the right way, I can control how he responds. Furthest thing from the truth. If I manage this perfectly, it'll turn out okay. Not even close. Instead of the outcome being managed toward improvement, he cut the conversation short, actually. And we never actually even finished the conversation. I went back to my office, and the next day I came to work and found out that my access to the system had been blocked, basically. And my HR manager's was blocked as well. So calling around, we found out who had done it and then found out why. And essentially, what had happened was my boss had had a conversation with the president of the company, who then also had a conversation with the chair of the board. And instead of having a conversation with me to talk about the whole thing, he retaliated and took my access away. As hard as it was for me to, or as hard as I tried to manage the outcome, that was the last thing I expected. So no matter what would have happened, I couldn't control how it turned out, despite my best intentions to do it right. The realization is that you can do everything perfectly and still not control the response. And that's not failure. Although, and I will admit, it took me some time to get to that point. And I will say I ended up retiring about 3 months after that. And it just was proof that I was never holding the variable that I thought I was. Even though I had been told multiple times, you can say anything, come to us. And I still to this day believe I approached it the right way. And I never did share with anybody what had occurred. So no matter how hard I tried, there's no way I could have predicted that outcome. If you're realizing how much energy you've been spending trying to manage how it all turns out, trying to control other people's reactions, responses, and comfort, you are not alone. This is energy clearing work, calling your energy back from all the places you've been scattering it in the people-pleasing pattern and letting other people's responses be theirs, not yours. I offer one-to-one shamanic sessions for women who are ready to stop managing outcomes, stop people-pleasing everyone else's comfort, and start trusting alignment. If that's what you need right now, the link to book a session is in the description. So what changes when you let go? Letting go of control doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. You can still show up, you can still speak the truth, and still do what feels aligned. But you stop making yourself responsible for how other people respond to it. And that's not recklessness. That's releasing the weight of managing variables you were never meant to carry. The people-pleasing pattern kept you thinking, if I can just manage their response, I'll be safe. But you were never actually safe. You were just exhausted. This is what calling your energy back looks like. You stop leaking into other people's reactions and stay centered in your own truth. Have you ever let go of trying to control the outcome? What happened? Tell me in the comments. When you stop managing the outcome, you stop performing. And that means freedom on the other side. You say what's true instead of what's safe. You choose alignment over approval. And yes, sometimes it doesn't go the way you hoped. But you're not fractured anymore. You're whole. And that's worth more than a controlled outcome ever was. This is reclamation work, taking back the energy you've been pouring into people pleasing and managing what was never yours to manage. If this is hitting home, let me know in the comments. You were never controlling the outcome. You were just exhausting yourself trying. And now you get to call that energy back. I'll see you next time.